Hey guys, so today what we're going to be doing is making a dowel joint using Autodesk Inventor. We're also going to be making a couple of other joints over the next few videos. So you can see here I've got a few bits from latest projects, but what we're going to be doing today is going to New, up in the top left, selecting Standard Metric IPT, and then going Create. So now the first thing we're going to do, there's obviously 3 bits we need to do. We need to make the dowel, we need to make the 2 bits to receive the dowel, which actually could also only be, it has to be 2 bits. So one, obviously we're going to have the standing up part of the dowel, and we're going to have the other bit going into it. So those 2 parts. So starting sketch, probably the easiest bit that we can do is actually make the dowel that's going to go into our product. So these are 9.5mm dowels, that's the standard size for a dowel, and we need to go 3D model, exclude, and then we're going to exclude that 50mm. So these are kind of the standard dowel size. One other thing we can do as well to make it a bit more realistic is actually add a chamfer to the end of it. They've only got quite a big chamfer on the ends, just like that, and that allows them to go to the bottom of the holes with the glue still sitting around them, if you just need some space for the glue to go into. We do use fluted dowels at school, but I'm not going to do that today, so that's good enough for me. We could also, if we go to Tools, Materials, I'm going to set this material, so we can actually set this up here. If I set this as oak, and we'll assign that to our project just like that. And then getting out of that, and let's save it like we always do. You can see here that I've been making these previously as also. We've got our woodworking skills, so we'll do the same thing. We'll make that separate folder, and then we'll save that in there as dowel. Okay, so now what we'll do the vertical piece. So go up here to New, and then make sure it's standard millimeters IPT, and go Create. So we can start a new sketch with this, opening up, whoops, and click on there. We've actually accidentally created a work plane there that I don't actually want. So you can see there we've got our work plane, and is it going to let me delete it? Yes, it will. Okay, so start sketch, left click, we're ready to go. So what I'll do is make the end profile of a piece of wood, which is going to be 70, tab 19, enter. So you'll normally get different sizes of timber, and the one we use for our skills task is 70 by 19. Right click, OK. So we've got that there, and we can go up here to 3D model, and we can extrude that. We're going to extrude this 250, and go OK. So now we've got that set up. We can actually cut our holes into the end. Oh no, this is going to be a vertical piece, so we're actually going to do it into the side. So left click on the side, going over to create sketch, and we've got our piece here. So just clicking on there makes it zoom in, or click on there and you can see the whole piece. So we need to actually make in the middle here. So one of the things I do is actually add a rectangle, and we'll add it 19, tab 70, enter. So when we're attaching our piece of timber together in real life, we kind of know the size of the timber we're going to attach to it, so then we can see that there. What we're going to do is actually get that there like that. Okay, so now we've got a center line, and we could do another center line, just like that. So we broke that up, and we generally want to put our dowels like in the middle of these. So now if I go, okay, dimension, we can dimension from here to here, and it's 35. So then it's as easy as knowing what, well actually we can put our circles on first, and then we can dimension them to half of 35. So I want this to be 9.5, enter. I want this to be 9.5, enter. Alright. And for those that are really good at quick maths, they know exactly what half of 35 is, and it's 17.5. Alright, and then we can dimension this one from there to there. kind of done a little bit of a roundabout way to just kind of break it down for you both in real life as well as on this, in kind of the thought process, but that's how I would do it. So you can see there we've got those ready to go. Now I can delete this line. Whoops. So right clicking and then going OK, so we're off of dimension. Left click on that line, delete it. So then we can cut these circles. So see it's still set to 250. We're going to cut them through, and we're going to cut them through 25 millimeters. And go OK. So that's half of our dowel that we made just before. Last thing we're going to do to this piece is go to Tools, Materials, and we're going to set this to Radiata Pine, because that is the wood that we're going to be using in real life to make it. So now we can save this, and we can save this as upright, and save that there. Alright, now onto our final piece. Remember, I always double check standard millimeters. You only want to redo something once that you've accidentally made into in inches. So you see there, clicking on sketch, left clicking there, rectangle, and 70, tab 19. So doing that again there, and then making this the same size. So 3D model extrude. I'm going to make this one 250 and go OK. Sorry if you guys can hear the baby in the background. So now we need to make our end. So you've done the side part and then the end that's actually going to attach to it. So left clicking on there, and then going create sketch. And then using our line tool. Same kind of process. So we get it the same. Except now we know that it's 17.5 millimeters down. So we can put that line in the middle, make our circles on it, so we know that it's centered. Make them 9.5, 9.5, and then we can just dimension those because we know the size really easily. Okay, and we can delete this line in the middle. 3D model, extrude, and let's extrude these bad boys. They're still stuck on 250, surprisingly. I thought it would have changed to 25, but we can change that to 25 just like that. So now we've got that piece ready to go as well. Now go Tools, Materials, Radiata, and we can set that one. Alright, and save that. And we can save that as horizontal, save that like that. Cool. Alright, ready to go. So now we can put these together. So clicking new up the top left again, then going down, and we can go to, oh, almost clicked on drawing, we don't want that. We want standard millimeters. IAM is the important part. So IAM there, and go create. So now we've actually made all the parts, let's put them together. So if I go place, and you see here it's opening up my previous one. So let's go to this one. I should also probably make another folder in here for a dowel joint because I'm going to be making a couple of these videos. But first I'll probably bring in the upright. Click. And it's placed there, right click and go OK. So we've got that placed in there. Now we need to make that so it doesn't move. So we've got this plane here, the YZ plane. And we're going to constrain that to this face. So if I go to constrain up in the top left here, left click on it, we've got mate, and we've got flush. So I actually want to mate that to that and go apply. And we've got our other one, which is we're then going to mate to the end. Apply. Now that's holding that there like rock solid. It's not going to move. We could do another one. I'm not sure if it's going to create a issue. Yeah, cool. Because it's already made so it can't move, so we don't need that extra relationship. So it won't let me do it. I'm also doing this on the newest version of Inventor, so I want to test that out, see if it still did the same thing. Now what we could actually do is put our dowels in. So if we go place, dowel, open, you can see here, see the different angles that it's got there. So it's got not the angles, the different planes, the axes that it's got there, the Y, Z, and X. So you can look on that and think about what one you want it to rotate on. So if I rotate that on the Z axis, you can see that it's going to flip it upwards. So right click, rotate 90 on the Z, and you can see there I've got it facing the right way up. So we need 1, two of those, right click and go OK. So we've got those two set in there. What we can now do actually is constrain. So we want to constrain this center line with this center line in here. So that way we know that it's going directly into this hole, and the same with this one. So if I left click and go apply, same with this one, apply. Now what we have to actually do is actually offset this here, so offset the end of this with the face of this 25mm, so we know it's exactly sticking out that far. Okay, so for this we could use the mate or the flush tool. I'm going to show you using the flush tool. So I could go flush this with this, but you can see here we've got an offset. So we're going to offset 25, negative 25, and then go apply. And we're going to do the same thing with this one. So we're going to flush this end with this end. You see it kicked it down in there, negative 25, and go OK. So now we've got those in there, and we're ready to put in our final piece. So we're going to place, and we're going to do our horizontal piece. Yeah, I spelled that horribly wrong. It's looked weird to me the whole time, and I've just reread it, and it's spelled very wrong. But that's fine. So now again, looking at those different axes there, so Y, Z, X, you see again that I want to flip it on the Z axis, and it's gonna turn it the wrong way, but almost there we go. So just had to turn it a couple times this time, and ready to go. So left clicking, right click, OK. So we've got that set up there, ready to go. So now we know this is sticking out exactly 25mm. We know all the holes are in exactly the same spot. So all we need to do is we constrain this to fit on the end. So if I go constrain, we can go flush this one and this one, and go apply, and we can flush this one and this one, go apply, and then the last thing we can do, you can see we've still got that little gap there. We can mate and just mate any of those edges up and go OK. So it's saying, yep, we want this to be flush, we want the end to be flush, and we want it to be joined together. So now we've got that set up as our joint there. So now I'm going to save that. I'm just going to save it as assembly, save. Now I want to actually pull this apart and do a presentation view like I like to do. So scroll on to the bottom here, and you see here we've got our different presentation views. And this is good for different joints like this because you can actually see how it's going together. So where are we? There we go. Open, and we've got that placed in there. So what we can do for this is we're going to tweak our component. So right clicking here, tweak component, and we're going to move this way. And you see there that it gives us our value. So I'm going to move it, or say we move it negative 130, or 135, sorry. And then what we can also do, if I click and then hold down Control and click on the other one, I can right click and tweak two components at the same time. So moving these again, and we're probably going to move them a nice round number, 65, because we did 35 last time. Okay, so we've got our different parts moved out, and you can see what puts together what goes into our joint that we're making. So now I can save that. Whoa, did I actually save that then? Yeah, I did. Alright, I think I've just called that assembly 1 again, unfortunately. We'll actually go into that, and we'll change that. We won't be able to change it while we're here, but you can see the different symbols, so that's why I'll know which one is which. But we'll have to mess with that a little bit later, but that's fine for now, because we're only using that for our one of our views on our drawing. So now we've done that, we're going to go new, we're going to go down here, and we want to do a ISO drawing, and we're going to create that. Now the beauty of this as well is that I'm actually going to leave this page the way it is so I can fit more on it. The beauty of printing this off when you export it as a PDF, it actually shrinks it down to make it fit to the page, and so it actually looks really nice. So now if I go to base, okay, you see here that I can bring one of these in. So it's nice to be able to see how the joint goes together. So if I put that one there and go okay, actually we might add color to that and go okay. And we'll add another one, but this time we're going to add the other assembly in. And we're still on the wrong one, frustratingly. Did I just click on the wrong one again? I did. and we'll add the base assembly in as well. And just trying to make sure you click on the same angle, so that way it can see the way that it goes together. So we've got one pulled apart, one together, and go okay. So now we've got our different parts that we need to do for this. So if we go base again, and now we need to navigate to our different parts. So we'll go horizontal first, open that, front, rotate that over because we've got more space this way, and we might change this to half scale. Alright, so now we've got that piece, we've got the end view, and we've got it see-through just like that, and we go okay, and you can see our different parts there. So we'll add our next one as well. I do like to do all the dimensioning at the same time, so now we go to the upright one, open, fantastic, and we're going to do the same kind of view, half scale, fantastic, and we'll line all these up. It's always good to have your different views, especially if something that's the same size, all lined up together. So you see you've got that set up there. And the final one that's going to be a little bit bigger is our Dowel open. You can see there this can go to 2:1 scale and be really nice and big. It's important to remember to read dimensions in drawings. I've got lots of students that seem to just look at the actual sizes on the piece of paper, and so they'd think this dowel was massive compared to these pieces, which over here in the little cheetah section in the presentation view you can see that it's not. So we've got that put together there. So now we can do all of our dimensions. Annotate dimensions. Oh, actually one thing I'd like to do first, I always like to add in some center lines. So you can see here on our circle we can add in our center line, or center mark, and our center line in this one. Create. You can see there we've got our different center lines. Cool. And now what we can start doing is adding in those dimensions. So you can see here, so the outside dimension, add that in there. Okay, and we can add in our how big our chamfer is. Okay, we could even add in our, oh, it's going to let me do it. We'll try to add in our angle. Maybe we won't actually need that. So add in our overall size. Whoops, we need to select dimension again. So you see here that it snaps to the optimal position. So we've got that one there. So that's actually all of the measurements we need for that. We could add in, say, that measurement as well. We could add it in over here, would probably be better if I don't keep deselecting dimension. So we can add that one in there. And that way you can kind of see both sizes of what that is. And then if we move up here, we want to make sure we keep our overall dimension. Okay, see I actually don't want that there because I'm putting dimensions for these down here anyway. So if I click on that and go delete, and make sure you put that up the right way that I want it. Okay, and put the length over here. 9.5, okay. Put the depth over here. And that's pretty well good, except for actually we could add in, and this is another important thing of why you add center lines to things like this. Did it let me? Nope, it's not gonna let me. It needs a definite point down the middle there. That was actually so we could do the, well, I did it on this one. That's so that we can do the size from the end. I mean, we can do that one. And that'll be easy to figure out anyway. But we can always do it here, if that makes sense. Because then you know that you need to meet up. We don't want that there. I'm going to move that down. There we go. Yeah, like I said before, I do like to have them all snapping to the right position. So then making sure we dictate the overall size of this one as well. And we've got the overall width, sorry. and we actually don't have anywhere the size that way. We'll make sure we line them up just like that. Alright, cool, so we've got those. One more thing we could add would maybe be some text. So if we wanted to add here Dowel joint, see there it's rather small, so we make that 7.5, make it double size, see how that looks. Probably want that a little bit bigger. 15. Alright, cool. So we've got that added in there. Where do we move it? In the middle. Cool. So we've kind of got that set up. Last thing we can do is actually add in our eye properties. So adding these in. Title, we want Dowel joint. Subject. Furniture construction. I'm the author. Sorry. Funnily enough, I was able to manage myself, and I'm at East College. Cool. I'm going to copy and paste this real quick, because over here in project, vendor, as well as cost center. I worked this out the other day. It's only about 70 cents worth of wood. It's and including the dowels as well, because they buy them in bags of 3,600. So that's really just copy and paste that again, because we need that a few times. Project is probably the skills task. Revision number 1. Description, Dowel joint. Stock number 1, part number 1. Cool. Status. This is actually all kind of done. Adding my name into these because I'm the only one that's been checking them. And then go okay. So now we've got our title block all filled out as well. And that should be easy to go. All done to go. So now I'm going to save this really quickly. I'm going to save that as Dowel joint drawing. And save. And the last thing we need to do, we'll go OK, is actually go File, Export, save it as a PDF, and we've got our Dowel joint drawing there as a PDF. So hopefully you guys have learned a bit from this. So it's kind of a really quick go through of how to put together one of these joints. It's a lot better than hand drawing it and giving it out to people so you can see all the dimensions and things like that. It's really neat and really clear. So hopefully you've enjoyed this and get excited for the next video.